Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to the Truth Seeking Network once again. I'm your host. It's not psychic. So, but how y'all doing out there? So today I was gonna do a video on Bitcoin again, and I'm gonna show you the similarities between the gold rush of 1848 and what's going on right now in our world starting in 2009. Just like back in 1848, in the beginning, they found gold nuggets just laying on the ground, in the creeks everywhere, right? The gold was big, it was abundant. And as the rush started, the more people started to come, of course, it was less gold found and it was harder to be found. It was more like then they had to sift for gold in fragments and so forth. And the same thing is going on right now. Today, we have a digital gold rush going on right now. And all the major companies are buying up all the gold. I mean, all the digital gold. In the beginning, this is out for everybody. In the beginning, the Satoshis, I mean, a penny, 5 cent, 15 cent, 20 cent. You can get tons of Bitcoin for little amounts of money. But during the early years, majority of people didn't know about Bitcoin, or most people didn't even know how to get into it. And it was barely even talked about. It was like a lot of the nerds and stuff. They were basically into it in the beginning, so it was something that most people wasn't aware of. But come around, I say about 2017, 2016, 2017, this is when I believe the real gold rush has started for digital assets. Because at that time, before that time, majority of people were against it, or mainstream media was against it, Bitcoin. And actually, they thought it was funny money. Most people didn't think it was gonna become anything. But right now, y'all, we're in the midst of a digital gold rush. And most people do not understand. As I was making these videos, I mean, you could have got Bitcoin for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, right? And I mean, before that, you could have got it a lot more. I mean, you could have got it a lot of people got it like a penny, 15 cent, 20 cent, a dollar, $30, $20. Some people got in early. But you're gonna what I'm trying to get to is that you couldn't afford a full Bitcoin, right? You can buy a whole Bitcoin. Now we're getting into the fragment stages where only the rich people at this point now can buy a full Bitcoin at 75, $76,000. Even I was making videos early on when Bitcoin had dropped to 15 to $16,000, trying to encourage everybody to get in. Trying to encourage my viewers to buy some Bitcoin, understanding that this is the future. This is the money's future. But at the same time, mainstream media was still trying to convince people that it was going to zero. And so now we're in this world today where Bitcoin is almost approaching $77,000 per Bitcoin, and it's out of the hands of average Americans, the average person. Average person do not have 70-some thousand dollars to throw around at Bitcoin now to invest in Bitcoin. But still, Bitcoin is projected to go into the millions per coin. So right now, it is still early. And right now, you can still get large fragments of Bitcoin. Right now, you can do this. And the time is getting short though, because like I said, there are so many big players, countries, entities, schools, universities, you name it, buying up the Bitcoin. Because those who understand the gold rush, the digital gold rush is going on right now. And right now it's going on, and most people don't even have a clue what's happening. The Bitcoin is being accumulated now. It's more than 19 million Bitcoin have already been mined. And the big players and the institutions are accumulating the majority of it. And so for the average person, just maybe a zero point 0.1 of a Bitcoin, which is a million Satoshis, which now will cost you 70 something, 700, $777 or something like that for a million Satoshis. I mean, think about it. I mean, you could have got it back just earlier this year when it was like 15, 20,000. You could have just got it for $150. But now that's going to cost you over $700 just to get 1 million Satoshis. But it's worth it. Some saying, I'm not saying, but some saying, a lot of people are saying that off of a million Satoshis, you might be able to retire off of that. And Bitcoin was meant to be broken down into fragments in the first place. So therefore, that's why it was called Bitcoin. You can buy bits of it. So now is an opportunity for you to get some while the digital gold rush is going on now. If it's going to be projected to be in the millions, then 70 something thousand is nothing. And all you have to do is just a dollar cost average it to it. I don't care if you do $50 a paycheck. You can do it. You need to do it because it is running out and it is getting scarce. Okay. So I'm gonna play this little clip. This is the California Gold Rush, and this is the guy who found it. In the beginning, now they found gold in the creeks. It was just laying in the creek. So the early miners, of course, got the most. But as time went on, there was more people showing up and trying to jump into the gold rush. And then people were coming from all over the world to try to get some gold. But by that time, the gold was not as abundant as it was at first. And so the same thing is happening then is happening now. Right now, you can get this Bitcoin. But soon, it's going to be when everybody realizes the truth about Bitcoin. And you don't want to be that person, but you want to realize it now. Because you don't want to realize it when everybody realizes it. Because that means everybody's going to be fighting for a piece of it. And if it's scarce, then how many people are going to actually get some? And then at what price are you willing to pay for it then? Because it's going to be a lot higher priced. And your $50 is not going to go as far as it can go right now. So the time is now to get your Bitcoin. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. This is the Truth Seeking Network, and I'm just here to tell y'all the truth. If you've been following me on this channel, you can just go back and watch some of my past videos when I was trying to encourage y'all when it dropped to get in at 15,000, 17,000, 20,000, whatever. And I'm hoping y'all that some of y'all followed me and y'all actually did get into the Bitcoin because we're just in the beginning phases, y'all. We're in the beginning phases, but at the same time, it's getting late because you don't want to get in when everybody's trying to get in, when everybody really figures out what's really happening and what's really going on. You want to get in before everybody else jumps in. And you still have time as of the date of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. And y'all check this out.
1848. On this chilly morning in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, James W. Marshall was heading a crew of local workmen in building a sawmill for Swiss immigrant and local entrepreneur John Sutter. That morning, as he walked along the American River that ran below the mill, he noticed some shiny specks in the water. Marshall reached in and plucked a few out of the frigid current to examine them more closely. Marshall prided himself on having at least a base working knowledge of minerals and knew that if, by some odd, unforeseen turn of fortune, it were gold, that it would be malleable. Marshall, born in 1810 in New Jersey, had come to California to start his own ranch. He had counted on California being annexed from Mexico, which had just recently happened in the Treaty of Hidalgo of 1848, which ended the Mexican-American War and ceded Alta, or Upper California, to the United States. He had come to this place just east of present-day Sacramento, in the rolling foothills which turned into the peaks of the Sierra Nevada mountains, and sought employment with Johann Sutter. He eventually saved up enough to get his own property, but fell on hard times and was again working for Sutter, still intent on making his own fortune, but unsure how he ever would. But he figured it was worth a shot to at least bash the shiny nuggets he had found between two rocks. If they broke, which they likely would, they wouldn't be gold, but most likely pyrite. And he could go on back to his job like any other day. But the pieces didn't break. They could be beaten together and molded into shapes. This, Marshall was now sure, was gold. He took it to his boss, Johann Sutter, and the two went to a nearby town where further tests were conducted to confirm the men's hopeful suspicions. These two confirmed that what Marshall had found that morning on the American River was indeed gold, and California was going to change forever. Towns from San Francisco to San Diego were emptied almost overnight as hordes of people made their way to the Sierra foothills. While word took months to reach the East Coast, it sparked a near instantaneous outbreak of gold fever, sending many a young American into a frenzied scavenger hunt to acquire money, passage, equipment, or all of the above. And while it's a common misconception that the gold rush was a strictly American phenomenon, word of gold in California spread worldwide, reaching some places like Mexico, Chile, and Australia before it ever even got to New York City. Ships crowded the harbor in San Francisco as emigres turned miners crowded rapidly into the city, just long enough to flood the local businesses with money and construct shoddy, improvised wooden buildings that caught fire constantly. But before most buildings could even manage to burn to the ground, the new Californians were rapidly on their way east to the gold fields. Many had made harrowing journeys, and many who had begun those journeys did not live to see California, much less make it to the gold fields. They came from the East Coast, from the South, from the Midwest, from cities large and small, and backgrounds rich and poor. They came from Mexico, Chile, Venezuela, Argentina, Hawaii, then known as the Sandwich Islands, Australia, New Zealand, China, Canada, France, England, Germany, Russia, Italy, Sweden, and Portugal, just to name a few. The estimates are around 300,000 people in total, all in a mad dash for cash, which, to say the least, took its toll on California's infrastructure, on its native tribes, on its geology, and even topography, as the course of entire rivers would be altered and entire tribes displaced. The ubiquitous hulking grizzly bear, so numerous and pervasive in California that they put it on the flag.
All right, y'all. Did y'all see this? What do y'all see here? I mean, this is video is about. I made this video is about Bitcoin, but understand, look what they're showing as the so-called native tribes of California. Do you know that California was named after Queen Khalifa, which is also an indigenous so-called black person? Look at the hair. Look at these. How come when you say again Native Americans or you say Indians or they show Indians today, look at the hair. Look at the bush. Look at the afros. Look at the hair. Look at the skin tone. These are so-called black people, or what they call now African Americans. Again, we were all over this this continent because we were the native people that were here in this land, or the so-called Aboriginal people that were here in this land. And here's another post, and this video is actually about the gold rush. And you just heard them say the native tribes were displaced. The people that were already here were displaced, and they showed people from all over other places around the world coming to America to find gold and taking over the land and taking over the country. And it's like these people, actually, if you know the real history of them, these people, a lot of people were slaughtered, were killed and murdered, and their lands were taken over. But there you go. It's proven to you right here that also this channel also talks about our history and who we are, and that we are not black, colored, Negro, or any of these other names, that we are actually the indigenous or Aboriginal Americans of this country. And this video actually shows the same as well. Okay, y'all. So real quick, this video again is about the Bitcoin, but since we saw what we saw in the video, um, here's the seal of the state of California, and this is Queen Khalifa. And y'all can go check her out yourselves. I'm gonna get back to my Bitcoin video, but this right here is Queen Khalifa, the seal of California, and you see the indigenous sister right here. And she's the same woman that Wonder Woman, the Amazonian warrior, was actually named after. So this is the real so-called Wonder Woman. You know, that she was the Queen Khalifa was actually Queen of California, and California was actually named after her. And I don't know if y'all know that, but just in case you didn't, that's a little quick history inside this video. So now let's get back to uh the Bitcoin.
Well, the crypto sector spent $130 million to elect industry friendly politicians this year, and it paid off Tuesday night with pro crypto candidates like Donald Trump and Republican Ohio Senate candidate Bernie Moreno emerging victorious. For more on what Tuesday's results could mean for the crypto industry, joining us now is Mike Belshi, BitGo co-founder and CEO. Mike, it's great to see you. So let's start there. The role, Mike, that crypto investors, crypto PACs, played in this election, I mean, really emerging as a force to be reckoned with, as a force that needed to be addressed by both candidates. What do you make of the role that played in this election?
Look, I think crypto had a huge role this time around. I think it surprised everybody, but it kind of shouldn't. I mean, really, there's nothing to object about when we say we want people to have the most modern, stable form of financial technology available to them. 20% of Americans hold crypto in one form or another. So of course it should be supported. It's really kind of backwards that we didn't have it already.
What do you now? It's been ahead. Trump in the White House. What should be his priorities, Mike, as you see it as a crypto investor?
There's a lot of different opinions about this. For me, look, I think the number one is we need heads of each regulatory agency that has an open mind towards what is crypto, what is Bitcoin, how do we bring financial safety to everybody in America. And once you've got that, you can move on. What we've had, you probably heard about it. There's been a bit of a crackdown unnecessarily on crypto, blocking crypto out of our most trusted and regulated institutions in the country. So getting that unblocked is first priority.
What about SEC Chair Gensler, Mike? I think we can assume he'll be moving on. What do you make of that? Any ideas who you would like to see take that position, or does it even actually matter, Mike?
Well, he's certainly been the lightning rod for attention, across all of the regulators. But remember, he's not the only one that's been causing trouble for the crypto industry. We also have, the OCC, which previously allowed, banks to touch digital assets. We also have FDIC, which sent out a harsh warning to all of its regulated entities saying, hey, if you touch crypto, we're going to scrutinize you and make your business difficult. So, although Gensler gets a lot of the attention, he's certainly been the guy doing the most, regulation through enforcement. This is the idea of, hey, I'm going to pull you over, give you a speeding ticket, and I'm going to tell you you're speeding. I'm not going to tell you what the speed limit actually was, which makes it so that, okay, you did some enforcement, but it doesn't help everyone else obey the law. So Gensler, I think, obviously is not going to be around. We'll see who gets to replace him. Pretty much anything would be better from that point.
Mike, I want to get your reaction to something Anthony Pompliano posted on X. He was talking about how one thing he says people are not talking about yet is how bullish a Trump presidency will be for Bitcoin miners. He says deregulation in the energy industry will bring more abundance and lower prices. A pro-Bitcoin president will bring a tailwind to the asset. Combine, he says, those two things, and you could see Bitcoin miners becoming an even more attractive opportunity. Your response to that, Mike?
When you understand money, you realize that energy and money kind of go hand in hand. And, the energy policy in America, not related to crypto, has really been very weak, and if existent at all, over the last few years. So if we're going to have a healthy mining industry, we have to have the electricity to support it. In China, they've just built a tremendous amount of nuclear power plants. They are looking to have electricity supply, not just for crypto, but for everything that they're building in terms of the future standard of living in China. And we've got nothing in America. So look, if we want to be able to compete on the future of digital money, we need to be able to have the power to support it. And by the way, even if you don't think you should have it for crypto, don't forget AI, right? If you think AI is going to be an important part of our financial lives, of our robotic lives, or self-driving lives, all of that requires massive energy, massive compute power too. We need it here in the United States for sure.
All right, on a day that Bitcoin jumps to a record high. Mike, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so y'all see the top of the screen. It says the number one top cryptocurrency to buy before it soars 18,600% is, according to billionaire Michael Saylor, is Bitcoin. That's right, Bitcoin. You see, are you worried it's too late to buy Bitcoin? Although the pace of some of the cryptocurrencies' previous run-ups may be difficult to match, there is still plenty of room for it to grow. As I stated to you earlier, that in the beginning, you could have bought Bitcoin for a penny, $5, $100, $700. I mean, now we're at 70-something thousand dollars. But is it too late still? If you believe Michael Saylor, the outspoken chief of MicroStrategy, the answer is a whole lot. It can grow up a whole lot more. Known for his bold and fearless Bitcoin advocacy, Saylor isn't shy about setting high price targets. His latest, that Bitcoin will reach $13 million, that's per coin, y'all, by 2045, a potential gain of 18,600% from today's price. So right now, we know that Michael Saylor, he owns over 252,000 Bitcoins, right? And he put about 10 billion in, and he's sitting on over more than $16 billion right now. Check this out. He's betting the farm, so to speak, on the success of Bitcoin, but he clearly believes in this strategy wholeheartedly. Why? Saylor sees it as combining the best of a range of assets like currency, gold, and real estate. For one, it's scarce. There's a fixed amount of Bitcoins, and that's to be 21 million, y'all, that can ever be mined. And it's becoming harder to extract new ones. This makes it deflationary asset, meaning that its value tends to rise over time because of its limited supply. This is an indirect contrast to currencies like the dollar, which are designed to be inflationary. So, what is that saying? The Bitcoin supply is scarce, it's fixed, and it's scarce. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, y'all. And right now, even though the price is at 70-something thousand, he's still saying it's not too late. Now, big corporations and big millionaires like himself or billionaires like himself, it's easy for him to buy one Bitcoin at 77,000. But my channel is aiming for the average person, for the average Joe out here. Yes, we cannot maybe buy a full Bitcoin at 77,000, but if it's projected to be at least 13 million, I'm thinking it's going to be more. I think that's a conservative number. But by 2045, $13 million per Bitcoin. So if you start dollar cost averaging into it now, how much could you accumulate? And how wealthy could you become? Remember, you don't need one Bitcoin to become wealthy. You won't even need one. If one is going to be 13 million by 2045, you wouldn't need 1 Bitcoin for a Bitcoin. Half of a Bitcoin, if that was 13 million, would it be what? 6.5 million? Yeah, about $6.5 million. So what if you could accumulate half or a quarter of a Bitcoin? You still be a millionaire. So, and if it's only 77,000 today, y'all, don't be like the last people that got into the gold rush in the past. When everybody found out, when everybody was getting into it, you have an opportunity to get in while it's still young. And that's why I'm putting this video out now. So don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. And yeah, oh yeah, my channel also talks about the truthful history of America and who we are. So I'm glad I found that little piece in that video to put in there and to interject that as well. But I just want everybody to know the truth, okay? Because they say the truth shall set you free. This is the Truth Seeking Network. Peace till next time. And I'm out.